Here, let me see the bottom. What?
It's still
Nathan, why did they give that to us?
because of our noisy door. A very noisy door. So the door, when we're moving, when we're going really fast, it sounds like someone is punching it repeatedly. Very, very difficult to sleep. Only at night, only the first night when we were going really fast, and then well, a little bit yesterday, but not while we were sleeping. But the first night was a little rough. So did complain. They came and looked at it. They said, well, that's the way it is. Again, the past few nights been fine, but that first night was a little rough. So they brought us some wine and chocolate covered strawberry, which is very, very nice of them. Pretty brutal out here. It's windy, cold, it's wet. Yeah. That one looks like the Nautilus.
You can see the shelving, see the crap going into the sea. You got one? Go all the way up to the glacier, see?
So we spent a really long time getting up to this glacier, the Dawes Glacier in the Endicott Strait, and took a while, and they were going really slow, and it's super icy, and we can't go any further. This is as close as we're going to get. Otherwise, we're going to pull Titanic, and I don't think anyone wants that. I mean, some people probably want that because of the love story and all, but not me. I'm good. So this is it. With the binoculars, we can see it pretty close. It's very impressive, and I'm just glad we got to get up this close. And the trip here has been incredible. But yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, but rather than be cautious than not. And like I said, it's been worth it just for the trip alone. Pretty impressive.
One right over there. That's Mike.
It's a good deal. The more you pay, the higher your score. Could be a dream catch for $10.
Give it to the single dude.
Yeah. Good job, Meg.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
Megan from
You did it.
Tacoma.
How do you feel? Good job, Meg. He's coming for you, Nathan. Oh wait, never mind. He's coming for me. Hey, buddy. Okay, bye-bye.
I want to see what happens here. Did she just like send it?
Set each other off. Oh, there. Wait, no.
I'm the king of this mountain.
Oh.
Crabs? Where are they? Oh, like out there? I don't think dead crabs kind of congregate in one place.
This would be the place to rock jump from.
I got that too.
Okay, so it's been a few days since I've checked in. Kind of a whirlwind. So let me recap what's been happening. So we were in Juneau last I checked in, I think, and came back. Had to come back early in the ship to head to Dawes Glacier through Endicott Strait, and it was pretty cool. Cruised through these big mountains with all these glaciers on them and waterfalls coming down and ice everywhere around the ship. It was very dramatic, very cool, just a super memorable journey. We got right up to the glacier, we could see it, and I was hoping we were going to get like right up to it, like where you could almost touch it, but unfortunately it was too icy. They said, no, we can't get the ship in any further. Slightly disappointing, but we were still close enough to be able to see it, and it was pretty amazing, and the trip itself was awesome. So yeah, and then that night, I'm looking at my notes here. That night was the Beatles tribute band played in the big theater, the Joy Theater, and they did kind of a set that spanned the whole career, which was neat to see them in that big theater. I have some thoughts on Ringo's drumming, in that he was doing a lot of rim shots in the big theater, whereas in the cavern he was just hitting the snare normally. So it's cool to see his style change from a place where he could play a lot louder versus a place where he had to keep it quiet. Anyway, that's super nerdy music stuff. So next day, day 5, we were in Icy Strait Point. Icy Strait Point is a place that was created basically by the cruise ship to take your money away. They have zip lining, they have some jungle trek thing, they have some canoe things, some whale watching, but everything's very expensive and very non-authentic Alaskan. It's just a pure cash grab, tourist trap. So we kind of got done with that in about an hour, because there really wasn't anything to do that didn't cost a bunch of money. Walked a nature trail, that was very pleasant. Saw some starfish in the sea, that was pretty cool. And then we paid $5 to take a bus to Hoonah.
the village of Hoonah, and it was rustic. There was a very nice brew pub that we had. They had a great IPA. That part was pleasant, but in general, it seemed like the locals in Hoonah were not particularly thrilled with people from the cruise ships being there. We heard a few derogatory comments, big city folks, and someone said we should go back to our processing center. Anyway, it was what it was, and so that day was kind of, that port was kind of a bust. But that night, we got back on the cruise ship and we saw Elements, the show. It's like the Cirque du Soleil here on the ship. And it had a lot of the cast from Footloose in it. It was way better than Footloose. And there was like fire and acrobatic, Cirque du Soleil shit. Don't know how they do it when the ship's rocking, but I assume they have those conversations beforehand and figure it out. But yeah, like pretty cool stuff. So that was worth doing. Oh, so one cool thing that did happen in Icy Strait is when the boat was docked, the ship was docked in the morning. I walked out on my balcony after I woke up, and there was a whale just right off the balcony, and he was like blowing all this stuff everywhere. It was awesome. That was cool. So high point of the day, definitely. So when we got back to the ship from Icy Strait, they had the glow party, which they were hyping this up. Bring a white shirt, bring a white shirt, bring a white shirt. All right, we brought a white shirt, and it was fine. They had some black light, and they gave out glow sticks and these kind of things you could wave around, and they played dance music. It was fine. It was the thing. So we stayed up pretty late. And then we stayed up late, and then the next morning, the next day was all at sea, so we just slept in after, glow partying. Slept in and didn't do a whole lot on our day at sea. I had every intention of going to the gym. I absolutely did not go to the gym. But what we did do is see the final set of the Beatles tribute band in the cellar, playing the Let It Be White Album era, which was great. It was cool to see them off and got a picture taken with them. My mom and I bonded over that, which was awesome. So that's really all we did yesterday. And then today was Victoria. Supposed to dock it early, like 7. I think people had excursions for 9 o'clock, and I woke up at 8, looked out the balcony, and we were still on the ocean with no land to be seen. So I don't know what happened, but apparently they were super late getting into Victoria. We didn't get there till probably 11, and they didn't let us off the ship till 12, which didn't matter much for us because all we had booked was a hop-on, hop-off bus, which never showed up. So we waited like 40 minutes, and the bus didn't show up. Called the people, got a refund, and went down Fisherman's Wharf and took a water taxi to Chinatown, and then just walked from Chinatown kind of all the way back through Old Town, through the gardens, and then back to our cruise ship, which is very pleasant. Victoria's a lovely town. I would totally come back for like 3 or 4 days, get an Airbnb. Beautiful gardens. We saw some wild peacocks in these gardens. We saw baby deer. Just really well manicured. Tons of flowers. Really gorgeous. And of course we saw the Parliament building and the big hotel. I'm blanking on the name of it now, but it's like the one in the Canada Pavilion, Epcot. There was a lot of stuff that looked just like the Canada Pavilion in Epcot. So if you are a big fan of the Canada Pavilion Epcot, you should definitely come to Victoria, because it seems like they based a lot of that off there. We saw the tallest freestanding totem pole in the world, which was actually pretty damn impressive. So yeah, and then got back on the ship, and here we are. Tomorrow we arrive in Seattle, which is only like 80 miles away. And then we get off the ship, and then we fly back to Sacramento. And then the next day I fly back to Baltimore. So, alright, Leonard Kinsey out.